I will give it a little second because I am going live on TikTok. I'm also going live on Twitch and YouTube. Doing a seminar. I'll be doing a workshop today as well. And if you would like to see the workshop, you could go over to either Twitch or YouTube. I don't know how to add. I'm still figuring out. Um, I'm still figuring out YouTube. I'm still figuring out. Um, I'm finally live on there. So I was saying that I'm going live on Twitch and YouTube as well. And so I will be having a slide. I'm going to be doing a workshop on Twitch and YouTube. You can see it. You'll be able to see the slide if you like to go over there, but I'll be on TikTok as well. I'll be on TikTok as well. So I will introduce myself. My name is STEM. I'm a speaker, a mentor, and a coach. I practice in the realm of mindset building and character building because I believe if you have the right mindset and the right character, you can go about anywhere that it is that you want to go. I tell people all the time, you can have a skill, but if you do not have the right mindset and the right character, the skill alone will not keep you there. So today I will be doing a workshop on is the purpose purposeful. I've been having a series for like since May, June, and it ends on June the 20th. I've been having a series of is your life purpose driven. I'm also real big on purpose because I tell people if you find your purpose, you find your life. Everything that you need in your life is found in your purpose. Most people find aspects of their purpose, but they don't totally find their purpose. And I know this to be true because this was me once upon a time. I knew aspects of my purpose, but I did not directly know my purpose. And so because of that, I got bits and pieces. I tell people if you find your purpose, you will find everything that you need to find about your life. Because when you were created, everything that was attached to you and needed for this journey that you call life and that you live, it was attached to your purpose. Okay, so today we will be doing the topic of is the purpose purposeful. Like I said, I've been running this series for since May the 23rd and it ends on June the 20th. And I've been doing different topics. Like the first topic was, is your life purpose driven? And it really touched around the bounds of everything that you're doing in your life. Is it surrounded around purpose? Most people, in most cases, they do not. Most people don't even know their purpose, to be real. They really do not even know their purpose. So today we'll be talking about is the purpose purposeful. And like I said, I'm also live on Twitch and YouTube. I'll be doing the slide on Twitch and YouTube. I don't even know how to do the slide on TikTok. I'm learning about TikTok, but I will be talking about the topic today as well. And then the last workshop will be June the 20th. That'll be the last workshop, the last 5-part series of the workshop. So today, again, we will be talking about is the purpose purposeful. So I will introduce myself again. My name is Servi Enter, and I'm a speaker, a mentor, and a coach. I am in the area of mindset building and character building. That is what I specialize in, mindset and character building. Because if you do not have the right mindset and you do not have the right character, I don't care about you having the talent. Talent can only take you so far. Talent only take, if you don't have the character, talent can't keep you there. So it'll limit you. We'll put it like that. It'll limit you. And it's a fact. So again, my name is Servienta. I am the CEO and owner of a company called Stimulators.T.I.M Co., which stands for Stimulators Taking Intermediate Movement. Yes, I am the CEO of that. Um, our company's mission starts with reaching the community through empowerment and growth, focusing on mental development, character building, and reliable methods that can enhance your life. We believe mental development and character building are the fundamental sources to have a successful life. So if you don't have the right character building and you don't have the right mental support, it's only so far you can go. Your capacity is limited. I tell people that all the time. You got to have mental stability. If you do not have mental stability, I don't care how good you are at something, I don't care how great you are at something, you will not have the capacity for that thing. So, in today's workshop, the vision and the mission is we will discuss about, is the purpose purposeful? We will be talking about use and misuse. We'll also be talking about, is your life purposeful? And we'll also be talking about what happens when you are out of purpose. I'm telling you, many people need to tap in. They need to tap into that, because it's a lot of people right now. Respectfully speaking, I've been there, I've done that. This is how I know it to be true. Where I have been out of purpose, and that's why this seminar is called "Is the Purpose Purposeful?" Okay. So that's what we'll be discussing today. Use and misuse. Is your life purposeful? And what happens when you are out of purpose? So what is the point of this workshop? The point of this workshop is to, I'm sorry, I'm sure adding on. So the point of this workshop is to draw you closer to, why is it there? Okay, hold on. I gotta move. There we go. So the point of this workshop is to draw you closer to your birthright, identity, and pull you closer to clarity in your life. This workshop is for you to question all activity in your life. Do nothing without understanding why you are doing it. So the point of this workshop is to draw you closer to your birthright. Most people don't even know that they have a birthright, meaning that when you were born, there were certain things that belonged to you. And for most people, they do not obtain those things that belong to them because because really they're out of purpose. Like I say, you find your purpose, you find your life. Everything that belongs to you that is a part of your birthright is wrapped up in your purpose. That's where it's knitted and woven at. And most people will not obtain it, and neither will they get it, because you do not know your purpose. Now, the thing about it is that you can be in a purpose, but it does not mean that it is purposeful. That's the point of this workshop. Okay. And I'm going to break it all down for you that you will get an understanding of what it is. So I want to draw you closer to your birthright, meaning for you to be able to grasp what belongs to you. Each and every one of us have a birthright. We have things that have already been allotted to us, that belongs to us, but we do not obtain it because we don't understand our purpose. It's just like a vacuum cleaner. The thing about it is, you could use a vacuum cleaner for all kind of things. You could find things for it to do, but until you use that vacuum cleaner for the purpose of which it was made, you have not fulfilled the purpose of that vacuum. And it's just like that for many people in their lives. The thing is, you're being used for all kind of things, but if you're not being used for the purpose in which you were created, you are not reaching your maximum purpose. You fulfilling a purpose, but it does not mean the purpose in which you were created. Okay, so this is what this workshop will do. It will draw you closer to your birthright, your identity, meaning who you are. Flat out, you trying to use a vacuum cleaner for something else, you're not using it, and it's for its identity of what it's created for. Why you think it have a hose attached to it? The vacuum cleaner has a hose attached to it because it has a specific purpose in which the vacuum cleaner is supposed to be used. But it'll get that in move. Okay, so this workshop is for you to question all activities in your life. Do nothing without understanding why you are doing it. Do you know how many people it is right now in life that are doing things and they don't even know why they're doing it? If you were to question them and to ask them, why are you doing that? What is the purpose of you doing that? They will tell you that they don't really even have the answer, or they'll connect it to somebody else. Oh, because this is what my mama did. This is what my daddy did. This is what somebody told me to do. They still have no clear clarity on the reason that they are doing it. That's just like this workshop. I clearly understand exactly why I'm doing this workshop with clarity. I'm clear about it. And I'm doing it for a purpose. Okay? So when it comes to your life, do you know why you are doing everything that you are doing? Or are you just doing it because it's the trend? Or are you doing it because this is what somebody has told you to do? Or are you doing it because this is how my cousin and my great-great-grandma and you doing it for everything else, but understanding why it is that you are doing it? And a lot of time tradition takes us. It really takes us. Because, oh, this is what my family did. This, and I'm not knocking tradition. I'm not saying that tradition is a bad thing. But what I'm saying is that I don't do tradition just because my family did. I need to understand why I do tradition. I need to understand the reason for doing this. Because that's kind of the cycle of life that we live in. Most people are doing things because someone else did it, or your favorite rapper did it, or your favorite auntie or uncle or whatever. But do that mean that it suits your life? Do that mean that it is something that you need to be doing? So today, we're going to be looking at that. That's what I want to do. I want to question all the activities that you got going on in your life. So, oh, shoot. I'm over here. I done went too far. Okay, so we're going to start off talking about use and misuse. Use and misuse. I'm sorry. Use and misuse is something people do every day. This is something people do every day, because the point of the matter is that everything in life, either you follow the rules or you make them up yourself. Oh, this is see, this is making me upset for real. Okay, I'm sorry. I then went to somewhere else. Okay, so use and misuse is something people do every day. And the thing is, either you follow the rules or you make them up yourself. And what I mean about that is that everything in life is being used or it's being misused. You know, my mama said this to me one time, and I thought it was a very powerful statement that she said to me. She said, she said, when it comes to people, we are here to be used, just not misused. And when I thought about that, it really have a lot of truth to it. You know, some people, you have people that say, oh, no, I don't want nobody using me. But that would be wrong lingo, because the thing about it is that as people, we are supposed to be used, but we are not supposed to be misused. And that goes for a lot of other things too. When you really think about life, everything in life is being used because everything in life has a purpose. It's just like car. Now, either you can use this car or misuse this car. Many people use cars. Some people misuse cars. Meaning that you dog the car out, you do not treat the car as the car is supposed to be used. Matter of fact, people have used cars as weapons. That's not what a car is for. A car is used to take you from point A to point B, back to C, and back to A again, wherever you're trying to go. The vehicle should not be used for you to weaponize it and try to hurt someone. So when it comes to everything in life that we have going on, either it is being used or it is being misused. I don't care what it is. Matter of fact, we could talk about a fork. I could boil it down to whatever item that you want to use. A fork. Either a fork can be used or it can be misused. Now, I can use that fork to go pick up some spaghetti and pick up food off a plate. Guess what? I would be using that fork correctly. Or I could misuse that fork and I could go outside and be picking up some other stuff that the fork was never intended or made for the use of that. So everything in life that we do is either being used or it's being misused. You can't negate that fact. I don't care who you are, whatever. I don't care a chair. You can either use the chair to sit in it. People have picked up chairs and they have hit somebody with a chair. The chair was never created to be hitting anyone with. The chair was created for you to rest yourself and sit down. So when it comes to life, everything in life is either being used or it's being misused. And that's what we're going to talk about today in Is the Purpose Purposeful? So what is use? Use, it refers to employing, applying, or utilizing something to achieve a purpose or the state of being so employed. So when it comes to using something, anything that you use, I love the word, it say employ. So that means to put to work. So when it comes to using something, that means that you are taking something and putting it to work, just like a vehicle. When you get in that vehicle, you is employing that vehicle. You're putting that vehicle to work. And this is how you get in the place of using the vehicle. It's just like a comb and brush. When you pick it up and comb your hair, you have just employed. I like it because it's basically saying you're putting something to work. So that is what use means, to put something to work. Applying, because you can use knowledge. You can employ knowledge and apply it. That means that now you're in the applicable state, meaning that you're putting it into use. Like, I'm going to use that information that was given to me. So you said I make the cake like this. So now you're beginning to make the cake and now you are applying information. So that's a form of use too as well. Utilizing, that's just like gas and electric. When you're using gas and electric, you're utilizing it. If you ever look at a bill, if you ever had a bill, at the end of the month they look at your utilization, meaning how much of the gas have you used, how much of the electricity is it that you have used. So key aspects of use is to put to service, use a pen to write. You can even consumption. It means to expend or use up resources. So that means that if you have funding in a company that gave you you applied for a grant and they gave you funding, right? If that company gave you if they gave you funding, now you are using that and you are in the place of consumption, meaning to use up the resources, right? So treatment, use can also be in as far as treatment, how you are treating something. Like I said, if you take that car and do everything else but what the car was meant for, you are now mistreating the car. You're not treating it in the right behavior. So what is misuse? So what do misuse mean? Misuse means to use something in the wrong way or for the wrong purpose. So if someone was to ask you on today, are you being used or misused? What would be your answer? Would you be saying that I'm being misused, or are you in the wrong relationship and that man or woman is misusing you? Or you at the wrong job and that job is misusing you, or are they using you? If it came down to your finances, are you using your finances correctly, or are you misusing them? Like I said, everything that we do every day involves use and misuse. So if someone was to ask you about your life right now, and they were to ask you if you would rate yourself today as, are you being used or misused today, what would you say? Because I know it was a point in time where I could actually say I was being misused by multiple things, by multiple family, friends, relationships, multiple things, my money, not multiple things. So if someone asks you that on today, what would be your answer? What would it be? Are you being misused, or are you being used? And that's what we're going to talk about today when it comes to talking about purpose. Now, the thing is that everything has a purpose, but just because you're using something, it does not mean that it is being used correctly. There are things out here that are being misused. And this is something I want you to evaluate when it comes to your life. Are you being misused? Are you being used properly? Are you in your full purpose? Is what you doing in your life purposeful, or is it just for purpose? Because like I said, I could pick up a fork right now and go outside and start picking up all kind of stuff with that fork. It does not mean that I am using that fork correctly, but yet the fork might be serving the purpose of what I needed to do. But it does not mean that the fork is being purposeful. The fork was never created to be used to be going out there picking up things. The fork was never created for anything outside of the use of the plate and food. And that is what is happening. And serving a purpose, but it's not purposeful. So I wanted to be understood that for any and everybody, right now, you are being used for a purpose, but the goal is you need to truly examine to purpose, because it brings no profit to your life. So use and misuse is something people do every day. Every day. People got money in their pocket right now, and the money it has a purpose. But just because it has a purpose, people are using the money just for a purpose, and some people are using that money to make the money be purposeful. Like people right now got money in their pocket, and the thing about it is you got bills to pay. But instead of, now the money has a purpose. It is to help support, buy, get. It is for exchange of currency of what you need in your life. Okay? So you got that money in your pocket. You got a bill that's due. And you need to pay that bill ASAP. The money has a purpose. But you take the money and you go out and go kicking it with your friends and spend it up on this and that and the third. Yeah, the money had a purpose, but what you used it for, it was not purposeful. It is not going to help, support, or profit you in any kind of way. Matter of fact, that was a waste. And that is for some people's life. Some people's life right now, you're in situations, people, places, and things, and you're being used for a purpose, but it's all a waste. It's not purposeful. And this is what I want you to do on today, is to examine these things for yourself. That's just like a piece of paper. You have paper that have lines on it, and you have paper that is called construction paper, and it have no lines on it. Now, the thing about it is that if I said, man, I want a piece of paper because I want to draw some art. I want to make some art right now. Okay. And then if someone got me a piece of paper with lines on it, granted, I can't use that paper to draw on. But let me tell you something, line paper was never created to be drawn on. So if someone was to say, are you using this line paper for the purpose in which it was created? I could accurately say, no, it's not. No, I'm not. I'm not using this paper correctly. I don't care that it's a piece of paper. I don't care that I have a pencil, and I don't care that I can draw on it. The fact of the matter is that, yes, I'm using the paper. I'm making it have a purpose, but it's not purposeful. Line paper was created solely for writing on words, a paragraph, work. That's why if you ever went to class and you were in school and you asked the teacher, could I get a piece of paper? They gave you papers with lines on it. Now, if I said, man, give me a piece of paper. I want a piece of paper. I want to draw on the paper. And you gave me a piece of construction paper with no lines on it, like that paper that be different colors, red, blue, green, but it have no lines on it. And someone was to ask me, or is this paper purposeful? I can accurately say yes, it is, because that kind of paper was created for writing. Why do you think they made it without lines? If you ever went to art class and you asked them, can the teacher get to telling you whatever subject or whatever project you had to do? Guess what? The teacher in art class never gave you a piece of paper with lines on it. Just as well as the teacher in your language class will never give you a piece of paper that have no lines on it. That is for a reason. So yes, I could take a piece of line paper and write on it and draw everything that I want to draw on it, but still at the end of the day, I'm not being purposeful with that piece of paper. Some may argue the case just because of rebelliousness and say, yes, it is. It's a piece of paper. But if pieces of paper were just pieces of paper, then they wouldn't create paper with lines on it, and they wouldn't create paper without lines. Even art paper, for people that are really into art and they are sketchers and draw for real, even that paper is different. They got mechanical pencils for that. They got certain kind of pencils for drawing. Now, yeah, I could take that pencil that is for drawing, and I could still use it to write paragraphs and do whatever else. But at the end of the day, if you would have asked the creator who created that pencil, that material, am I using this pencil purposefully? They'll tell you with a resounding, no, you're not. That pencil was never created for you to just write with. It's created for those who do art. And I'm breaking all this down because this has to do with use and misuse. And people in their lives right now don't understand that you are being used, but you're being misused. You're being misused. Yes, you could be created to be in a relationship, but the question is, are you being used or misused in that relationship? Or is the relationship purposeful? Most relationships, they're not. And I say it with the resounding, they're not. Most people are in relationships that they should not be in, and the relationship is not purposeful. You are being used, but you're being misused. A lot of people are in relationships right now where they're being misused. They're not in a purposeful relationship. Okay? And people really need to grab, because if you want to be used correctly, you have to make sure that you are in a purposeful situation. Yeah, you might be in a relationship and that's you know, a man supposed to be with a woman supposed to be with a man, but it does not mean that you're in a purposeful relationship. You're depressed, you're sad, You're angry, you're resentful, ain't no peace. Yeah, you're being used, but you're being misused. Where you can actually get in a purposeful relationship. And I'm finna break down what purposeful mean, and to let you know that everything that use you does not mean it's purposeful. No, it does not. No, it does not. Some people are in situations where they need to run for the hills right now, because that whole situation that you was in is draining your whole life. I mean, and that's honestly with all love, and I mean it in love. Okay, because the topic on today is the purpose purposeful. So we have discovered that everything can be used and misused. But the thing is, right now, you're in purpose. I don't care what you're in. You're in a job right now. You're in purpose. I don't care what it is. You're in a relationship. You're in purpose. But the thing is it purposeful? Is it purposeful? So, is your life purposeful? This is the topic of this workshop. Now, is your life purposeful? Purposeful means having a useful purpose. Now, listen to this next word. Similarities to useful purpose is valuable. You're in a relationship, but is the relationship valuable? You're around them friends, but is them friends valuable? You spending your money, but is you putting your money in valuable places? Okay? Useful. That means that it counted. You in that relationship, but is that relationship counting? You in them friendships, but is them friendships counting for something? Yeah, you're using that money, but is it counting? Is it making a difference, or is it wasteful? Okay? Beneficial. Beneficial means for the prosperity, the uplifting of, meaning for the help of. You in that relationship, but is it helping you, or is it draining you? You in that friendship, but is it helping you, or is it draining you? You using that money, but is it helping you, or is it not? Like, come on, let's make it make sense. Rewarding, advantages, positive. You in a relationship, but is it positive, or is it negative? Huh? You feel the love, or are you depressed, or you sad, or you trying to find a way to escape, or you resentful, or you angry with them on the low and they don't even know it, or you tolerating it. Let's talk about it. Okay, so purposeful means useful. It means intentional. I like intentional. Now listen, that word alone, that word alone, I don't know why I keep kicking me out, but that word alone, intentional, should really, really make people think about the whole purposeful. So, intentional means, these are similar words to intentional. Intentional means premeditated. So, something that's premeditated means it is well thought out. You thought about this. Or in things that you ain't even thought about. You just real spontaneous. Ain't nothing wrong with spontaneous, but it's a time and a place for that. Is this deliberate? Because when we're talking about purposeful, it means deliberate. It means calculated, intended, planned, and pre-planned. So when we talk about purposeful has to do with useful, intentional, and then look at this last one, return on investment. Okay? So if you are in any kind of relationship right now, or if you're using your money, or if you're using your time, or if you're using your knowledge, your wisdom, your company, and there is no return on the investment, you're not in a purposeful situation. And people may look at this and say, like, well, man, you talking about company. I'm not being in the company of anyone that when I get in your company, all I feel is doom, gloom. You make my nerves hurt. You stress me out. By the time I leave you, there was no return on the investment. You drained me. I did not leave you with the man. That's my dog right there. Or uplifted or encouraged or you done gave me a nugget of wisdom or just happy, fulfilled, joyful. If I am keeping company with anybody and I feel anything but that, when I leave, there's no return on the investment. That was a draining situation. That was not purposeful. The purpose was not fulfilling. When you go sit around someone and keep company with someone, you do not want to keep company with a person that is draining. What was the purpose of going over there and just to leave more depleted than when you came? What was the purpose of that whole little communing session? It was not purposeful. Usually when you go visit your friend, it's like, man, I just want to be in the presence of my dog. I ain't seen them in a long time. And are you going to uplift them? Or you going to support them? Whatever goal you went for, if the purpose was not fulfilled by the time you left, it wasn't purposeful. If you keep company with people and you go for one thing, but you leave with the total other thing, mean opposite, negative, is draining, wasn't no return on the investment, it wasn't fulfilling. Like, man, I miss my dog, I want to see my dog, and you leave with that fulfillment of, man, that's my dog. I just wanted to be in their presence. If you went in their presence and the purpose was not fulfilled, then it's not purposeful. It wasn't a return on the investment. I don't know of people who make investments without a return on it. That's called a loss. That kind of situation is called a loss. So how to know that you have a purposeful life? We finna talk about how you will know that you have a purposeful life. Okay? So, if you have a purposeful life, in your life there will be value, it will be fruitful, and it will be helpful. Now, valuable, if you see, for my people that can see the slides, you see them gold bullion cubes. That means extremely useful or important. If you have things in your life that is not extremely useful and important, I'm talking about even the job. Even the job, you stressed out. Like, for real, you depressed. You crying before you go into work because that's just how bad you feel going there. It's not valuable. If the relationship, you in the relationship and you in the relationship, but all you feel is stressed, depressed, overwhelmed. You don't even want to go home. It's not valuable. It's not valuable. It's a loss there. There's no return on the investment. It's a loss. If it's not fruitful, and fruitful means producing good or helpful results, productive. If you're around someone and it's not productive, every time you go around them, it's just loss. You know what? There was a time in my life where, and this was a long time ago, where I had to leave certain company alone because I went in that company, but every time I left, it was like I felt empty. And it wasn't like a It was like nothing was there. It wasn't productive. And these were people that you just want to sit around. You want to talk about people. All you want to do is talk about. And see, me, that wasn't valuable or productive to me, because I want to talk about how we going to come up with this plan. How is it that we shall become better versions of us? I don't want to sit around and talk about what Sue doing over there with Johnny and how they really sleeping. Every time my husband leave, that other man up in there. Look, that has nothing to do with me. That's unfruitful talk. How shall that profit me? How shall that make me a better version? So, and this is just in that scenario, but this goes for anything. If you're in anything and it is unfruitful, it is not productive, then guess what? It's not purposeful. If you see any area in your life and you find unfruitful areas, you have found areas that are not purposeful. Let me tell you something. Those are just people, places, or things that is just taking up space. And the thing about it is you got to empty it out so you can make room for the purposeful things. Because one thing about it, the fruitful and the unfruitful cannot coincide together. They cannot coexist. They cannot coexist together. So it's impossible. You want to keep that unfruitful thing there. You want fruitfulness, but you're keeping unfruitful things right there in the place of where you want that fruit at. Why would good fruit come and sit with unfruitful, negative, molded, corroded fruit? Why would it do that? They're not going to do that. Have you ever seen mold? Have you ever seen mold? All it needs to do is be in the vicinity just to be able to touch it. I don't know why I keep going. Just to be, if it touches it, then guess what? Mold gonna get on that too. So when it comes to unfruitful things, anything in your area, any area of your life where you find unfruitfulness, know that it's not purposeful. Okay? So we talking about how to know that you have a purposeful life. Helpful. Helpful means giving or ready to give help. If you're in any kind of relationship where it's not helpful, where all you feel is drainage, where all it is doing is sucking the life out of you and it never pours anything back into you, you're not in a purposeful situation. That area of your life is not purposeful. And let me tell you something, you might want to hold on to it because of emotions. You might want to hold on to it because we've been friends for 15 years. Let me tell you something, people change. And if that friendship is not valuable, if that friendship is not fruitful, and if that friendship is not helpful, then guess what? It's time to let it go. It's time to let it go. You know, your emotions that have you holding on to things that are not purposeful. People have houses right now that are cluttered with all kind of things. But everything, majority of stuff you have in there ain't even purposeful for your life. My mama told me this. She said, if you could go a year without using it, you don't need it. You just have an emotional attachment to it, but it have no purpose to feel in your life. You have no purpose to feel. So it's time to let it go. Okay? So when it comes back to knowing if you have a purposeful life, it ought to bring value, it ought to be fruitful, and it ought to be helpful. If it's not doing those things, I mean, come on, let's really talk about it. What is it there for? What is it there for? It's time to let it go. It's time to move on. So we're going to talk about, and so this next part we're going to talk about, this is food for thought. This is where you need to start questioning everything that is going on in your life. You need to start questioning, right now. This is food for thought. So from this point on, we'll be just really just talking about food for thought. Okay. What happens when you are out of purpose? And this is where most people don't really, or maybe some people just probably overlook it and don't even care, but it is something that you really need to care about, and it's something that you really need to take heed to what happens when you are out of purpose, so you can be able to identify that you need to make an adjustment, so you could be able to identify, I'm no longer in purpose. So if you're not in purpose, then what does that mean? You will not have purposeful moments. You will not be around purposeful. You won't have a return on the investment. I'm telling you, I lived a life for a long time where I was steady pouring in, but there was no return on investment. And what happens is, like I say, you're going to stick and stay till it drains you, till there's nothing left, or you're going to have to let that go and move around. So what happens when you are out of purpose? So the first thing is you are being misused. So let's talk about that fork again. I'm going to keep bringing up the fork. Or we talk about the paper. When you are out of purpose, you're being misused. Yes, I can use a piece of lined paper to write on, to draw on. But guess what? At the end of the day, I am misusing that paper, because lined paper was never created to be drawn on. Lined paper was created for you to write on with words. That's why I have lines on it. Because if you try to write on a piece of paper that don't have lines, you'll notice that your sentences start slanting. Them lines are guides to keep your words going straight across on the paper. So even though I got that paper and I drew on the paper and I want to draw on it, I am misusing the paper. So this is what happens when you are out of purpose. You are being misused. If you're in that relationship and that's not the purpose, you ain't in the relationship that you need to be in that has purpose for your life, I don't care how you try to make it pretty, you are being misused. Yes, you're being used, but you're being misused. And you're being misused in the wrong way or for the wrong purpose. It go back to that paper. I'm using it, but I'm using it in the wrong way and for the wrong purpose. Because the line paper is meant to be wrote on, not to be drawn on. So when we are out of purpose, that is the number one thing that happens. And I got that question mark over there because the thing about it is you're being used, but you're being used in the wrong way, and you're being used for the wrong purpose. So what happens when you're being used in the wrong way and for the wrong purpose? That means that you are in a situation where you're being misapplied, you're being misemployed, you're being put to work, but for the wrong work that don't even belong to you. Hey, I love this word right here, embezzle. Hey, these words be deep. Embezzle. Do you know what embezzle mean? It means that when you are being used outside of purpose and you're in the wrong situation, and I want you to think like this. That means that if you're in a relationship where you're in the wrong relationship, that partner is embezzling things from you. They're basically taking things from you that do not belong to them. And that's what happens. That's why a lot of people get out of relationships and you drain, you torn. All that goodness you have, you don't got it no more. People turn bitter because you done gave your good part away. But the relationship that you in, that you shouldn't be in, they embezzled that out of you. Hey, when you are outside of purpose, you're being abused. Abused, yes. Yes. Exploited. Squander. Do you know what squander means? Squander means to waste. So even though I used that line paper to draw on, I really wasted that line paper. I embezzled. I abused the line paper because that was not the use it was intended to be used. I squandered it because the creator tell me, you just, even though paper is meant to be drawn on, but the person who created line paper would say, you have just squandered a good piece of paper. But I used it to draw on. But the creator say, but you did not use it for the purpose in which it was created. So when you are not in purpose, you're squandering your goodness. You're wasting it, giving it to the wrong people, places, and things. And then the last one say waste. I did this yesterday. I wasted a lot of rice, messed the rice up, and it went to the trash and never got ate. So when it comes to misuse, the thing about it is that we are tools. We are weapons. Not weapons. We are tools. I will not say weapons, but we are tools. And us as humans, we're actually meant to be used. Now the thing is that it's important for you to find out your purpose. What are you meant to be used for? How are you meant? When it comes to everything in this world, and it is crazy because now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, is that when you buy a new vacuum, it comes with instructions. You know why? Them instructions is to let you know how this vacuum is supposed to be used. The thing is, we too come with instructions, but most people do not sincerely find out the instructions to themselves and how they are supposed to be used. And it's so important because if you don't find out your purpose, you will be misused. You will not know you won't know your own instructions. And then you know what? Hey, and I said this once before. It reminds me of Ariel on the Little Mermaid, right? She was a mermaid from the sea, but she loved the earth. The land and the earth, and she wanted to be like a human. And she would go up there and get all of this stuff and travel to these shipwrecks and stuff that was down in the sea and get all this stuff. And I remember when she got the fork and the little seagull bird that she knew because she had flounder and the seagull and the little crab too. But the seagull was like supposed to be her guide because he really was on the earth. So she found this fort, but she didn't know what it was called. She didn't know it was called a fort. So she got it and she took it to the seagull, the bird uh, that flew. And she asked it, what is this? And he really didn't even know what it was. So he couldn't even give her the proper instructions. So he called it a dingle hopper thing. And he told her it was used for combing her hair. And she was sitting up there combing her hair with the fork. And it's like that. If you don't find out the instructions to your own manual, then the purpose will not be purposeful in your life. You will be used, and you'll be used over and over and over and over and over again, but you will be misused. People will embezzle things from you. They'll take things from you that do not belong to them. They will misemploy you. They will put you to work, but not the correct work. They will squander your good. They will waste it. They will misapply you. They'll apply you to something. You'll be applied to something. You apply to their relationship, but you're being misapplied. And I bring these words because it is so very pertinent and important to know these things. Question your life, examine your life, and see you're being employed. I don't care what you want to say, how you want to say it, but you're being employed every day. Let me tell you something. You're even being employed by your children. But the thing about it, guess what? Even children, if you don't know the instructions to your parentinghood, to yourself, they'll misapply you. They'll misemploy you. They'll embezzle things from you that they shouldn't. I don't care what it is. And see, people may say, "Oh man, that's just so, man, that's a lot." Yeah, it is a lot because every day you're being put to work as a wife. You're being put to work. That is a job. That is a position. And guess what? If you're in the wrong situation, you're being misapplied. Somebody is embezzling wifey duties from you that they should not even be getting. They will abuse your goodness. It'll be exploiting you. Yes. And I put these words up because I want you to look at it just like that. Because if you looked at it like that, you'll pay more closer attention to how you are being used in life. And you will not just be going along to get along, but you'll be questioning everything that anyone is trying to use you for, or even what you are putting yourself in a position to be used for. Questioning. Am I being misemployed? Am I being put to work as I should be, or is this the wrong work that I am being put to? Because right now, you could be somebody's girlfriend or boyfriend, and they putting you to work in the position of a boyfriend and for the position of a girlfriend, but they're misemploying you. They're manipulating you. They're putting you to work because they want to use your benefits and how you can give to them, but they really already know in their heart they don't even have good intentions for you. So yeah, you're being employed for a boyfriend or girlfriend position, but guess what? You're being put to bad work. You're being misapplied. Yeah. Every position you're in, you're being put to work. You're being as a friend. Guess what? When you become friends with someone, they're employing you. They're putting you to work. And the job that they have hired you for is the job of a friend. Now, the thing about it is that you need to find out, is this who you need to be friends with? Because guess what? If it's not, they're going to misemploy you. You will find yourself forever giving to them, but they will give you nothing in return. They're using you. They're misusing you. But they're putting you to work as a friend. Are you my friend? You my best friend. Are you the best friend I ever had? And you're working. You're constantly dumping into them, pouring into them, giving to them, and they're giving you nothing. They are embezzling from you. So before I close this up, I want you to think about it. Is the purpose purposeful? Is it purposeful? You got grown kids right now. Now look, as a parent, you always is a parent, but guess what? Even your children can take you and put you to the wrong work. Every time you turn around, it's always this, always that, is that, and this, then the third and fourth and the fifth. You got to ask yourself, is my children even embezzling from me? Are they abusing me as a parent? Are they exploiting me as a parent? Is they squandering my parently duties? Or is they wasting my parently duties? And people will say, oh, they didn't went too far. No, most people have not went far enough. And that is exactly why most people are in a purpose, but the purpose is not purposeful. The purpose is not fulfilling. Because if you break down purposeful, that's what it means. Purposeful, meaning that you are using something to the full extent of what the purpose, in which the purpose it was made for. That is what purposeful means. So on today, I want you to question everything. Examine your life. Go back and look at your life. Look it over with a fine-tooth comb and find out, is the purpose purposeful in my life? Go to different areas of your life. It's like going in a store. You got different sections in the store. Go in your life, search out every section. Your friendship section, your spouse section, your children's section, your financial section. Real talk, even your section. Seriously, your parent section, your work section. And find out, is the purpose purposeful? Or am I being embezzled from here? Am I being abused here? Am I being misemployed, misapplied, exploited, and squandered? Because that was the question on today. Is the purpose purposeful? So I put our contact information up here. For any questions or bookings, you can contact us at the information below. Someone from our team will get back to you at our earliest convenience. Oh no, that number ain't even supposed to be up there. I don't even know why that number is there, but or that location. So the last one is, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you. Thank you for your attention. I thank you for showing up, giving an ear to hear. But on today, I want you to ask yourself, is the purpose purposeful? Go back and do a fine examination over your life and what is going on with your life. Because if you don't, you're going to live a life where you are in a purpose, but the purpose is not fulfilling. It's not purposeful. You'll keep having relationships where it's a purpose. Some people purpose is, I need you to save this spot until the real person comes. But it ain't purposeful for you though. It's not purposeful for the whole situation. It's a misuse situation. So my name is Miss Stem. Yes, yes, aka serving into the inspired motivator. I am a speaker, mentor, and a coach. And I focus on mindset building and character building. If you would like to know more, go and subscribe. I be live on Sundays and Wednesdays. I do Bible studies. On Monday, I do a podcast, Unapologetically Spoken. And on Tuesday, I do Testimonial Tuesdays. So if you would like to know more, learn more, and see more, go and follow. I thank everyone and everyone. Have a great day. Bye-bye.